Hello, my love. I am so fucking excited to finally be launching my medicine, my soul's purpose, my mission, just this ancient wisdom that is astrology, right? But I do find that the moon is the perfect place to start if you are someone who is embarking on your astrology journey. I personally really needed something like this, and so that's why I had to create it. So I really hope that you enjoy it and that you love learning about the moon because you are the moon. And I wanted to share a book that I first discovered when I was on my journey. It's called Moonology by Yasmin Boland. And I just absolutely love this fucking book because it's just so simple, fun, and easy to digest. And what I learned as well, if you are someone who wants to grow your hair a lot faster, would be to cut it on and after a new moon. And this is because on and after a new moon, the moon is growing, so this actually promotes the hair follicles to be stimulated and to grow faster. So yeah, fun fact. And so now I want to welcome you to my lunation cycles and guide and how to work with her intentionally. So first I'll say the moon is literally everything fluid on earth. She governs all water on earth, all bodies of water on earth. She is our womb. She is our veins. She is our blood. She is our urine. She's our semen. She's also the sap and the herbs and the plants and the trees, the mushrooms, just all creatures of earth that embody this divine fluidity, right? So when we work with this is extremely fucking empowering. So how cool. Let's dive in. So before we follow the moon, we start to follow the sun. So where is the sun right now? As I'm recording this, the sun is currently in Taurus. So before we follow the moon, we need to know where the sun is because automatically, when we look at the zodiac wheel, we can see that all the archetypes oppose each other, right? So when we really look, we can see that Taurus opposes Scorpio, Aries opposes Libra, Gemini opposes Sag, so on and so on, right? So, when we understand the archetypes and just who is opposing who, this is automatically going to provide the information for every single new moon and full moon and where she's going to be. And so, this is simply because on a new moon, what makes a new moon is when the moon is conjunct or aligned the sun. So, the sun's light is not shining on her, she will be unseen at a new moon. This is why the night sky is extra dark at a time of the new moon, right? And this is simply because wherever the sun is, so right now the sun is in Taurus, at the beginning of each month when the sun enters a new sign, the moon will then follow the sun and it will enter the same sign as the sun. So, for example, at the start of Taurus season, we would have experienced a new moon in Taurus as well, right? And then, so what makes a full moon is when the sun is opposing the moon, shining all his light on her, illuminating the entirety of her sovereignty, reaching max momentum or climax of energy, right? So, because the moon is opposing the sun, which is what makes a full moon, we automatically know then that because the sun and moon are opposing, if we know that the sun is in Taurus, then what is Taurus's opposing sign? Scorpio. So we know that every Taurus season, every year, we're always going to have a full moon in Scorpio, right? So again, looking just at this wheel, when we memorize the opposing archetypes, we're going to know where the new and full moons will be, right? So when the sun is in Taurus, we know at the start of Taurus season, the moon will meet the sun in Taurus and it will be a new moon in Taurus. And this will always be at the start of the season. I'll repeat that again. And towards the end of Taurus season, we know that the moon will oppose the sun and be a full moon in Taurus's opposing sign of Scorpio. Oh, I've written Scorpio. We can just leave that. That's fun. So next, we're going to experience Gemini season. So the sun will be in Gemini. So then we know now that at the start of Gemini season, we are going to also have a new moon in Gemini. Sun and moon both in Gemini. But then towards the end of Gemini season, we will have a full moon in Sag. Why? Because they are opposing signs. Okay, let's get into it. I hope that that's clear. So, La Luna. In astrology, she governs the entirety of your emotional landscape. She is your intuition, our subconscious realms. It's how we get our needs met. She is the connection to our mother and motherhood in general, also because she is the home and family life. She is our childhood and youth, and she is what we need to fulfill on a daily basis to feel safe and secure within. I'm going to repeat that. She is what we need to fulfill on a daily basis to feel safe and secure within. So I'm going to mention that when you know your moon sign, you know exactly what your little boy or little girl needed in this life to feel the utmost safe and secure in your human experience. AKA, you really know yourself when you know your moon sign. Because the moon is that instinctual, primal, innate emotional response within. So during our early childhood, during our youth, we actually were more in our moon sign because our mother was the one who was giving her life force to us. She was nurturing us, she was feeding us, she was supporting us, she was giving her emotional protection and support. And so this is the moon, right? So she really taught us how to feed ourselves, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally on a daily basis. And that was the landscape of how we move into this world with security and safety within. So on Earth, the moon is the goddess within our most primal, natural, emotional instincts. Because she is the ruler of water, the ocean's tides, the rhythms, and emotional fluctuations, we are made up of water as human beings, right? We are, I think, 90% made of water. So it makes sense that wherever the moon is, and especially when we're tracking the moon, that we can kind of really jump on this emotional wave and ride this wave. So, this is a really empowering thing. So, the moon orbits around the earth every 28 days, which is synchronized with the woman's menstrual cycle. Like, are you not mind blown? Honestly, the fact that we have given the information on earth that a woman is directly linked to the moon blows my mind. The fact that when she is in sync with the moon, especially, this is just even more wild because there is something that is so raw and primal and wild about this divinity that accelerates us into deeper magic. So, the lunation cycle is involving 4 phases. So, let's fucking dive in. The first phase is the new moon. Now, this is a time of rest, to retreat. It's wanting to hermit, wanting to reflect and ponder. Now, this is not the time to take action. And this is specifically because at the time of the new moon, we are floating in the void of death. We are saying goodbye to the previous cycle and all that once was, and we give ourselves this space to just be. So, our next steps are going to feel a lot more potent and clear and energized because we've given this space for us to recalibrate, right? And so, I know that there's been a lot of stigma around new moons and wanting to plant the seeds and just let's fucking go, because it's new energy, it's a new cycle, it's a new time to really plant our manifestations. And so I understand that, and I do stand for that, but I personally love to wait 2 to 3 days after the new moon to plant the seeds of my desires and manifestations. Why? Because when we finally start to see that beautiful crescent moon in our sky after a new moon, what's happening is, like I explained at the start, there is light that is starting to shine on the moon. So there's light consciousness, there's life force to our subconscious realms, right? Again, the moon is our subconscious states, it's our emotional realms. So when there's life force, when there's vitality shining onto this part of the moon, into our psyche, we can really start to work with wanting to drop the seeds into the soil, and then we start to water them, aka actualize our desires at this point. So because this energy of the new moon is directly linked to the woman's inner winter, the start of her menstruation, if you think about a woman who is on her bleed, first day of her bleed, she's not doing fucking anything. She is too busy romancing herself and floating in the bathtub and just in a trance state of nothingness. She's got no energy to do shit. So you'll notice as well, like after the second or third day of her cycle, that's when she starts to really amp herself up to more energy. So this is actually a more effective and efficient time to plant the seeds, to align yourself to what is true for you to move into, right? So the next phase, the second phase, is the first quarter moon. This is also known as the crescent moon to a half moon. So we really start to see that half moon in our sky. So we've planted the seeds around the third day of the new moon. And now, so this second phase is perfect for taking aligned action. This is when we start watering the seeds in the soil. And this is because the sun's light is supportive in giving life force energy to the moon now. We can start to actualize and make moves that are aligned to our planted seeds. This is yin into yang energy, feminine into masculine energy, also known as a woman's inner spring, aka the follicular phase. So the third phase is, of course, the full moon. This is the time to really harvest your labor. This is a time where you're taking action, you're celebrating, you are in deep gratitude, you're also in radical reflection, because this is a huge cultivation point. It's a climaxing of energy. So, this is simply the reason of the sun shining all his vital life force on Luna. So, here there is no hiding. All the crevices of our emotions are fully exposed at this time. And this is a really beautiful moment of great self realization, letting go, and keyword here, surrendering. Surrendering, surrendering, surrendering. So, what's happening at a full moon is our psyche, our subconscious mind is fully fucking exposed. There's no hiding, right? All the crevices are being lit up and illuminated. So, this is all of our shadows coming to rise from the depths of our psyche. So, it makes sense that we are allowing this energy to release when it wants to, because it needs to at this point, right? And so I've written celebrating and gratitude because of this specific reason of all the shit coming up to the surface, right? And I feel like if we are celebrating what we are releasing and really sitting in this deep gratitude, we're making space for more. So I personally love full moons. I also personally feel so tired. Like, I really personally don't like to socialize at the time of a full moon. I feel like it's extremely sacred, unless, of course, it falls in an air sign, right? Like Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, where other people are involved. That's when I'm finding that I am more receptive to sharing this energy, sharing ideas, and communicating and, yeah, exchanging that information, right? Um, So every full moon, you'll notice where it is every season that it's going to activate a part of your chart. And depending where, it always depends where, but full moons can be very exhausting. So I personally also love, I should have written this in, is to make sure that during this time, because the veil is so thin, right? So a lot more things and beings can penetrate our realms without our consent. So when we are in our spiritual hygiene practices and rituals of clearing, protecting, commanding, closing our energy, this is extremely empowering, beneficial, and this keeps our energy in check, you know? So the full moon is also known as a woman's inner summer or our ovulation phase. So this is a peak of energy as well. Again, depending on where the moon is falling in your chart and the conversations they're having with other planets in your chart, that's, more advanced astrology, but it's an onion. There's just layers upon layers upon layers. Okay, so the fourth phase, which is my absolute favorite moon phase, is the last quarter moon. So this is again a half moon, but she's getting ready to descend back into the new moon. So she's dying. This is also known as like the dying rose emoji. This is a perfect emoji for this phase of the moon. This is a time to withdraw the energy. We can declutter, we clean up, we refine, and we accept past actions and revelations. We clear old energy, all in preparation to hermit again before the new moon. We don't want to drag old energy into the new moon. So we really spend time in this phase to just fucking clear, right? And I say that this is my favorite time of the moon phase because I personally love cleansing and just clearing because I understand energy. And the moon at this point in time really supports releasing the old. And again, I don't know if I wrote this at the start actually, but the moon is a ruler of food as well. So I love to make sure that I'm going into my wardrobe, clearing my old clothes out. I'm cleaning up my space, my bathroom, getting rid of shit that I don't use anymore, and going into my fridge and really clearing out any moldy or off food because I do not want old dead food to take up space in a sacred place that actually stores the food that is supposed to nourish me, that is supposed to make me feel whole. So, going through your fridge, going through your pantry, and clearing out all foods that you do not consume, right? Power practice. And so, this phase of the moon, the sun is withdrawing his light from Luna. Oh, I should have written from Luna. So, there is a natural force of the death process here, all in preparation of rebirth, aka before the new moon, like we explained. This is yang into yin energy, so masculine into feminine. And this is also known as the woman's inner autumn, the luteal phase. So, if you're a woman, you automatically know that every single luteal phase, your shadows will rise. So, it's a perfect time for us to really sit with our shit and allow the crevices of our subconscious to be illuminated so that we can work with her and alchemize her so that we are making sure that we're not bringing any old attitudes into the new moon phase. So, yeah. So, my love, thank you so much for coming to this free workshop. I really hope that you enjoyed it. This is part one, and there is going to be a part two for available for purchase. And we're going to dive into your moon sign, the depth of your moon sign, so that you're aware of how to support yourself and others. So, this is going to help you to create that inner emotional safety daily, right? We go into what you needed as a child to feel safe and what you needed from your mother, what you possibly got from your mother, what you possibly didn't get from your mother, and just some specifics on how you can really harness your moon sign via element and sign and just really get to know yourself on that inner, private, emotional, beautiful level that we were never taught. So I hope you had the most beautiful time. My Inbox is open for any questions, and I hope to see you so, so soon. Mwah.